Now, Tory MPs are urging the Prime Minister to call a summer election amid fears further delay could end in massive defeats for the party. Don't see how that's going to be any different if they have the election now, but there you go. Those close to Sunak are reportedly warning him against waiting until autumn, with the risk of more MPs resigning and growing panic that the Prime Minister could be ousted by Conservative rebels.
The Tory unrest has been mounting as polls show Labour is on track for a landslide victory when Britain goes to the ballot boxes. Let's bring in former Labour advisor Matthew Laza, who's still with us, of course. Well, you're probably feeling quite chipper, aren't you, right now?
I mean, yes.
The point is, Richard Littlejohn, of all people, in the Mail today said, come on, Rishi. So yesterday, there he is, this heartbreak podcast with William Hague, former leader of the party, of course, say, I miss my kids, this job, you know how demanding it is and all that. And so Richard Littlejohn said, well, you don't have to miss your kids. Just throw in the towel.
Absolutely.
Why delay the inevitable?
You have a lot more. I mean, I tell you what, people moaning about being Prime Minister does not a good look for the electorate, especially one who, it's not like, he's sort of, it's not like he had greatness.
Upon him.
Yes, greatness was not thrust upon him. He rather thrust himself upon greatness, as it were, because he clearly manoeuvred for it. And if you're a Boris Johnson fan, you think you won't use the word manoeuvre, would you? You'd use rather stronger terms for what he did when Boris went, even if he didn't initially get the prize. And we mustn't forget about the Liz Truss premiership, easy though it is. So, I mean, don't say that. I think this is one of the problems of not having fixed-term parliaments. It's just the public just think it looks absolutely ridiculous. Will he, won't he? Will he, won't he? What he needs to do is set a date for the election now. We've just had in Ireland this week a new Taoiseach. Well, he hasn't been elected as Taoiseach. He was elected as party leader when the Dáil reconvened. So they have made clear, because they're in a three-party coalition, they're going to go the full term. So it's just like here. It's actually very, very similar, actually, to with the timings are almost... their election was in January, ours was in December. And they've said they're going to go to full term. So fine, that's now sorted. Now, whether that's right or wrong, he needs to tell us. Because otherwise he's actually a lame duck.
Put himself out of his own misery,
exactly.
put the Tories out of their misery and put the country out of this misery.
I mean, obviously the sooner the better as far as I'm concerned, but even if you're going to do it in December,
is getting ridiculous.
Tell us.
But I think the problem is here, yet again, the problem with the Conservatives is they all know best and yet they can't agree on anything.
Well, it's the 7 families, isn't it? Which we might come on to in one of the families.
They cannot agree on anything. And there's a load of them going, well, we've got to wait. Look, if we go now, I've lost my seat, he's lost his seat, she's lost her seat. Maybe there'll be a sort of black swan moment which will hurt Labour. Maybe there'll be good news when it comes to the economy. If we go now, we're definitely done for. Then there are others going, well, if we wait, then we'll be even more done for because there'll be more boats across the channel. Farage is going to come back.
Absolutely. And they're also looking at it on a personal basis because, of course, the longer that Parliament sits, the longer they're MPs and the longer they get paid as MPs. And a lot of them will be worrying about what they're going to do for jobs after they're elected. Remember, after 97, when there was a Tory landslide, a lot of them, these poor old Tory MPs, they were kind of features a year on, people were literally claiming the dole. So they'll be thinking, do I want a few more months of this? Rishi will be thinking, will a few more months as Prime Minister help me get an even bigger tech job so I can go to his Malibu house? And all the time, the public are just wringing their hands and they obviously desperately want change. Even those who aren't Labour supporters want to express their dissatisfaction with other parties.
Let me tell you, he thinks that things might get better economically over the summer, so if he goes to the polls in October, the Tories might do better. But what is also going to happen over the summer is going to be an ongoing invasion of migrants' boats. And that won't be a good look. We're already...
And nobody going to Rwanda.
Yeah, nobody going to Rwanda. The migrant crisis not solved. The general atmosphere of disintegration. I mean, actually, I think if he hangs on till October, his results will be worse than he called the election in June.
I think it's the law of diminishing returns. The longer we go on, the worse the result is going to be. So actually, you can see why some people are saying go in the autumn. And, they're getting to the stage where it's like, if we have it in this month, will the students who they perceive... Well, actually, all polls show favour Labour and parties to the left of Labour. If the students aren't around, then maybe, the students are at university and not in their marginal seats in their home counties. Maybe that'll save a few in the blue wall. It's pretty desperate stuff. And the public can see right through it. We need an election date fixed, and then we can, then at least, even if he's going to go later, at least we know when it is.